What up? In the last video, I broke down a live sales call and I showed you how I close deals, but what do we do after we sign a client? Congrats, we did it. Now we have to fulfill the work. So in this week's video, I'm gonna break down exactly what I do once I sign a new client and how I manage all that. So now we gotta do the boring onboarding stuff, which there's a couple things that we do that a lot of other companies do, but we use Google Drive, Dropbox, Trello, and we use Slack. And we use something super cool called Slack Connect. Pro tip, love Slack Connect. It's one of my favorite things that no one uses yet because it's pretty new. What this allows us to do is integrate right into someone else's Slack channel if they're a pro Slack account. If they don't have Slack, it's fine. We just do email or we do text messaging back and forth depending on the client. If they don't have a pro Slack account, we'll invite them to our Slack account and we specifically make a channel for that client, both for team communication and one to actually talk with the client. The other thing we do for management is we use Trello. A lot of companies know how to use Trello. They can comment, they can see all the copy, they see everything. It makes it super easy for us. Communication is almost as important as delivering good results for your client. This part's really important. If you over deliver on communication, that can a lot of times make up for any failure points throughout the relationship where you might not deliver or have an off week. So I can't stress enough, you've got to set these things up. The next thing we're gonna do is understand the client's customer because we're creating content, right? We need to know who we're creating content for. And then we need to figure out a good strategy for our client to approach with their content. So what I'll do is I'll research a lot of other companies. I'll ask them all the right questions so I can understand a lot more about their customer and the types of content that we want to put out. Now, also what's really important up front is to really set expectations and set standards in the beginning of the relationship. I let them know, hey, if you don't have the content by this date to us, we're not gonna post it. When you start posting and you're doing this much, if you put this much effort in, you do these things, expect these types of results, but it might take this much time. As long as you set those standards early, there won't be as many issues moving forward, as long as it's communicated. And then we get to the fun stuff, we get to work. With content specifically, for all you that are interested in content, I have my clients create what are called series. So at TikTok, for example, if you're in accounting practice, you might have a series on tax advice, but you might have another series on news in the accounting world with new laws that are being passed. At the end of the day, what you need to figure out is what will your customers watch? Let's say I started tax practice for e-commerce businesses. What are e-com businesses paying attention to? What types of content do they want to consume? We figure those things out and we get in front of them. A company that I really love is called Barstool Sports. You probably have heard of them. And they have all different types of series. They have fun content and one of their series is called 1 Minute Man. They call it 1 Minute Man as a joke, but he does like a 5 to 10 minute rant on news that's going on. And that's a series. So this makes it easy for clients to go, okay, we need to create this types of content, then we can put the content calendar together and then go. So that's how we get started. Just remember, the onboarding is really important, laying expectations is really important, over communicating is really important, and that means setting up systems to communicate with your clients. What is going on, guys? A crazy week so far, just a lot of client work and stuff. So I'm gonna show you one of my clients' accounts and talk about kind of how I manage this stuff. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna show you inside the TikTok account and then how I do certain things because there's a lot of coaching involved. And you do this with any business. When you start working with your clients, you want them to perform better, you have to give them advice and feedback. So I'll show you exactly what I'm doing with all the people I'm working with. So let's hop in. We talked about different series and stuff, and you see with Rafe, who's been on the channel a couple times, he's a lawyer we work with, he's awesome. You guys need a divorce lawyer in Chicago, STG Divorce Law, they're all great people there. We've grown his account to close to 10,000 followers since we've been working together, and this is divorce law. People think that you can't do that because TikTok's just for kids. Keep saying not true, which is really crazy because the growth for accounts on TikTok, it kind of snowballs. So we've gotten thousands of followers within the last month, and that's gonna continue the next time you check this, a month later, potentially 15, 20, 30,000. What we're doing here is we do tactical divorce advice, which Rafe does really well. We also do a lot of answering questions. So that's like low-hanging fruit. So Rafe will just pick up the phone, answer questions. And I showed him how to do this. We kind of game plan when we first started. Now what's interesting is some videos do super well, and we want to create more of that content. So for example, for his case, affair content does great. News can do really well in the divorce world. You can see here, we made a really good video on Joe Exotic. Now this is actually a really fast clip, and this took him maybe a minute to film and deploy, and we got 56,000 views. So he did really good. He came up with that one, so that was on Rafe. When we first started, there was a lot of coaching involved, and there was a lot of hey, I need you to be quick. First 3 seconds, seconds, hook the attention. Don't ramble too much. Make sure we're making shareable content. And when you're first starting on TikTok, you don't know how to do any of these things. So there's a coaching piece involved. Here's a client that we recently started working with. We're almost at 1,000 followers now. These first two he made himself. This is actually the first video we posted right here with 17,000, close to 18,000 views. He did a really good job with it, but then we started getting 300, 300, 300, 300, 600. And the reason for that is they're dragging too long. Literally every time he makes a video, I text him and I say, hey, you didn't hook people in the first 3 seconds. The lighting wasn't good. The audio wasn't good. There was no call to action. So this is important to do this with your clients. This is how I do this. I can't make videos. The clients have to make the videos. Once he kind of made those changes, you see he got 1,300 views. Then we got our biggest one yet, close to 40,000 views, 1,200. And this one we posted today, so it doesn't have many views. Then we also posted on Instagram Reels. We push it to the feed. And we also manage Instagram. And you can see, like, before we started working with him, some things kind of are like cluttered. And then once we started working, we kind of like got a certain aesthetic and like really cleaned it up. One pro tip for TikTok specifically, if the text isn't in the middle of the page or at the top where you can see it within the square of Instagram, then I'll do something like this. That's a cover. So I'll put a cover on it to make it look really nice. And then we use Trello. All the content we create the to-do, which is all done right now. Then we move it to QA when the client's ready to QA. There's a revise section if we need to revise it. And then once they approve it, they move it to this ready to post. And this is great because they can comment on it. Anything they don't like, they can move to a different section. We can fix it. And then once everything's approved, we can load everything up. This iterative cycle where we post, we review, we see what worked, what didn't work. So it's really important to like understand for us, like the difference between social media platforms to create quick video content on TikTok. But on Instagram, we want to mix personal images, graphic images, value content, videos with kind of everything. And at the end of the day, the type of stuff we do, it's a mix of execution, but it's also a little bit of coaching. Another example is with my development agency. We have clients that we do product development with. A lot of them we do product development with. And for a lot of the people we work with, they're non-technical founders. They don't know how to code. They've never been like a product manager before. So we coach them, we teach them how to develop product. And it's a constant kind of like teaching and back and forth. There's a lot more value add than just execution. There's also a consulting piece. And I think we're gonna push towards that, do coaching first and then execution second. I think it's a really good business model because then you can charge, say, $1,000 for a 6-week coaching program twice a week. You can put 10 to 15 people in there and you can make $10,000 to $15,000. This is what I've been up to. This is the stuff that you guys haven't really seen too much of. So that is it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed kind of seeing what I've been up to, seeing how I'm doing all this, seeing how much I value client communication and kind of like systems like this. If you enjoyed this video, make sure, if you haven't done it yet, hit that like button, subscribe, notification bell. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, I will see you in next week's video. Peace.